So on Thursday, the 23rd of October, 2025, the Liberal Party of Canada unveiled their new Bail and Sentencing Reform Act, Bill C-14. It's been in a lot of news. Let's have a look at it this week on Don't Talk TV to see what, if anything, it really does to change bail and sentencing in Canada. Hello, my name is Nicholas Wansbutter. I'm a lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. If you're new to this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And especially if you've been watching for a while and haven't subscribed, we'd ask you to do so and help spread the word. Just a note, if you're watching this shortly after it's posted, you're watching it Thursday morning. We've shifted the show to Thursday mornings. That also means we'll be moving our live episodes to Thursday mornings rather than the evening. So make sure to tune in at 9 a.m. if you're able to on Thursday morning. If you're not able to watch in the morning and you're someone who's been watching our lives regularly, please leave a comment in the comment section to let us know. And we may go back to the evening setting, but since we're doing the regular episodes in the mornings, I figured I'd shift to doing the live episodes in mornings. And frankly, doing live episodes in the morning is probably a bit easier on me and my family than rolling home at 10 at night after filming a live late in the evening. So that said, we're going to have a look at Bill C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act that was recently tabled by the Liberal Party of Canada. But before we do that, we just have word from my PR guy, Richard, and his business. They offer us a lot of assistance here at Don't Talk TV. And if you need some PR and marketing solutions, this may be the answer for you.
Are you looking to increase your target market audience? Reach and/or engage with current or potential clients on social media? Or are you simply looking to rebrand or revamp a current or up-and-coming company or business? Well, look no further than Ram Design Group, Inc., your public relations insurance plan for your next company event, new product launch, or marketing campaign overhaul. Ram Design Group, Inc. specializes in marketing, event planning, product launches, communications, social media management, crisis management, copywriting, and much, much more. Please visit ramdesigngroupinc.ca for more information or email us at rmitchell@ramdesigngroupinc.ca and book your company's future success today.
So with those things out of the way, Bill C-14. I'll give you the too long don't read version to start, and then if you want to hear more, we'll get into a little bit more details as we go forward. But long story short, in my view, this bill actually doesn't change a whole lot. From my perspective as a criminal defense lawyer, the changes that I see here, I don't think are going to influence bail a whole lot. It's not going to change, other than maybe a few rare cases, it's not going to change things a lot. And certain things, such as the race-based sentencing sections that I've covered, Section 493.2, which we've covered, essentially makes it easier to get bail if you're not white. That section is untouched. Section 718.2, that instructs courts to be more lenient in their approach to sentencing of non-white individuals, that is also untouched and unchanged in this legislation. So in my view, if you're not white, nothing has changed. But even if you are white, not much has changed either. So it all seems to be much ado about nothing, and a bill that's been put out there just to say that they're doing something without actually really doing a whole lot. So let's take a look at that bill, and I'll show you a bit of what I'm talking about. I mean, it amends 80 sections of the criminal code. We're not going to go over 80 sections of the criminal code, but I'll give you a representative sample. And of course, the link will be in the show description as always. So if you want to look at it in more depth yourself, you can just click on that link and you can certainly do so. So here we have Bill C-14. Now this is, of course, its first reading format. It was just brought for first reading on October the 23rd, as I indicated. So we go down here. Now this is one of the bigger changes, actually, but the reason I don't think it changes much in practice is because previous iterations of the criminal code that have included similar legislation it's been struck down by courts as unconstitutional. Therefore, I anticipate that the same may happen here. But what they're doing here is they're adding a sentence imposed on a person for an offense under section 333.1 sub 3 or 4, breaking, entering, shall be conserved consecutive to any other sentence imposed on the person for an offense under section 348 arising out of the same event or series of events. So this is a specific section of the criminal code that they're looking at for some consecutive sentences. And there's a few other things where they've added some consecutive sentence. They were adding some aggravating circumstances, stolen property, of course, without limiting the generality of section 718.2, which I just referenced. Now, of course, 718.2 has other things in it than the part of it that I referenced with the more lenient sentencing approach for people who are racialized individuals, as the courts have termed it. But they're adding that if stolen property was stolen for the purpose of being fraudulently returned to a store or being sold, that's an aggravating factor. Now this one I think is an interesting one. It only changes it for very select circumstances, but I think you can probably already see when you see essential infrastructure, what is this section designed to be dealing with here. So again, without limiting the generality of 718.2, when the court imposes a sentence for an offense referred to in section 322, 343, or 430, so that includes mischief to property, it shall consider as an aggravating circumstance the fact that the offense interfered with access to or functioning of an essential infrastructure. So in my view, this section was clearly added to punish more harshly anyone who would do something in the future, like the Freedom Convoy or the Coots blockade or the blockade of, I think it was the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor. This is what this is directed at here. So if there's ever wide-scale protests of the government in the nature of the Freedom Convoy, I think this section will come into play in that, but I don't really see it impacting anything other than that. Now, I mean, here's one that's a very minor change. So section 493.1 is the section that indicates that, I mean, really is just adding to the criminal code what the charter says about people's right to judicial release, that people are to be released at the soonest possible time on the least onerous conditions that still guarantees the safety of society. So they've added this 493.11 sub 1 saying, for greater certainty, section 493.1 does not require the accused to be released. I don't think anyone thought that that's what that section meant. Otherwise, no one would ever be detained. So, I mean, that's some wording that they can say, well, we changed something to make the bail laws stricter, but in my view, it doesn't actually change anything. So they add a few more clarifications to 493.1, saying that a peace officer shall not release the accused if the officer believes on reasonable grounds that it's necessary in the public interest for the accused to be detained in custody. Again, this changes nothing. Police were already doing this, that if they thought it was necessary, I wouldn't even say on reasonable grounds, if they just believed that it was necessary, they would hold them, or they would let the prosecutor make the decision. I mean, there's just, they do say that if they do release them under sub B, it has to be in the least onerous conditions that are appropriate in the circumstances. Sub C, a justice or a judge, as the case may be, shall not give primary consideration to the release of the accused at the earliest reasonable opportunity if the accused is one to whom subsection 515 sub 6, 522 sub 2, or 523 sub 2.1 applies. So that's referring to the reverse onus sections. These are just various different ways that people could be in a reverse onus situation where normally it's presumed that you should be released and the prosecutor would have to satisfy the court why you ought to be detained on a balance of probabilities. There's certain offenses and certain circumstances where that's reversed, including if you're already out on bail or other form of release when you're incurred a new charge, but also certain charges in and of themselves have that automatic requirement. Again, this doesn't really change anything, because if it's reverse onus, the courts are already not really considering releasing you at the earliest opportunity. Although that said, if this were interpreted to somehow revoke the right to reasonable bail under the charter, this section would certainly fail charter scrutiny. But I'm sure the state would say that's not what that means. So again, I don't think it changes much. Again, just minor tinkering things. Just another example here. So there's conditions that where justice makes an order under subsection 2 in respect to an accused who's charged with any of these number of firearm offenses. They're going to have weapons prohibitions on them. And then the other thing, terrorism offenses committed with firearms, extortion is added. I mean, these are all things where people were getting firearms bans as part of their bail in any event. So again, I don't think this changes a lot. And the bill goes on like that. Again, in my submission, this is, for the most part, just nibbling around the edges, a few minor changes that in the grand scheme aren't going to change things significantly when it comes to judicial release in Canada. In my view, the judicial release system may need a more significant overhaul and rewriting, but that would be a topic for another episode. I think there's a lot of things that could and should be changed, both in terms of, in some ways or some areas, people should maybe be able to be released more easily, or in other sections where they should be detained more easily. But the bottom line is that I think people do need to keep in mind, and it's worth reminding, is that people are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So it stands to reason that release should be the norm when we're talking about people who have not been proved guilty yet, people who are presumed innocent. And the danger of making bail too strict is then when you have a situation where someone's clearly innocent, or you believe they're innocent, or you have a situation like Tamara Litch and Chris Barber that we just saw, that they would be denied bail if the bail laws are made too strict. So there's a lot of things to consider in reforming bail. The bottom line for me is, in my view, this bill doesn't change much at all. So that said, this video is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, I recommend that you contact a lawyer. If you want me to be that lawyer that you'd like to consult so that you can get some advice specific to your situation, please call the phone number or email the email address listed below, or rather visit the webpage that's listed below. When I'm speaking of email addresses, this one that's going along the banner on the bottom now is the one to email if you have a show topic suggestion or a question that you'd like to see us talk about, or leave a comment in the comment section. We're very happy with that as well, and we do like to try to be responsive to questions and requests. And if you found this video at all interesting, helpful, or informative, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and following us on social media.